Good evening and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the indigenous one. And tonight, as always, we're going to bring you some information that's going to get you to think about your purpose on this planet. You know, we're not here to tell you what to do, how to think, or whatever. We just want to give you some examples of some of your people's ideas and how they see things. And hopefully you can get in on it too. We want to hear your ideas as long as they're, intelligent. Give us some intelligent thought. You can join the conversation too. You know that? We want to hear what you got to say because your voice counts too. So, keep it brief. Ask a question, or, to get an answer or whatever you're going to do, please. We want to hear your voice, what you have to say, not what somebody told you, something that you came up with yourself. So tonight, the topic is going to be fighting with dead people. And since this was a topic invented by the two people who are about to come on and talk about it, I'm going to let them explain it to you. Please, go ahead.
Oh, Halito, Kayuk to the chat and everybody. Hope everybody's having it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the Indigenous One, for having me here once again. And I'm so happy to be with Rick Moon. I love talking with Rick Moon, But Rick Moon and I have a difference of opinion, Carrie. We evidently see things a little differently, which is okay, and it's okay to have a difference of opinion. But apparently, some other people also have a different opinion than I do about Carter G. Woodson, and so I'd like to say in my defense that Carter G. Woodson, yeah, okay, he might have been Boule, he might have went to Harvard, okay, he might have been Boule from that perspective. I mean, he might have been picked to be, one of those chosen, you know, uh, 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 you know, elite people. However, I feel like he was one of our inside men because of the fact that the legacy that he left behind. First of all, never really calling himself African, never really calling himself, um, or writing anything that had the title of being African per se. He always maintained the Negro, and he always promoted our history and the documentation that shows us to have been thriving, owning land, being heads of households, and being even owners of slaves. So him taking his position and using it to collect that kind of data, I find valuable because Du Bois didn't do that. Um, you know, Booker T. Washington didn't keep that information for us. So I personally give him credit for the fact that he actually got that information and cataloged that for us. But what do you think? What's your perspective, Rick?
Uh, yeah, I have a little difference of opinion on that. Uh, see, I look at it. I look at it like this: all this information was out there then, even during Carter G. Woodson's time. This information was there, and although he said some great things, and although you know, I mean, I'll give him credit for some of the things, some of the things he said, but the reason why I don't give him a pass is because there's no doubt in my mind that he knew what was going on, and he knew that he knew that we were the indigenous people. And I never heard him talk about that. and I knew he had to know, because I just feel that anybody that was into it like that knew all that he knew, if a person like me, I'm not really a big researcher. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a really big researcher, but people told me stuff, and I learned this stuff, and I just don't think. I think that being the person I am, that no matter what the situation was, I'm going to tell the whole story. I'm not going to tell part of it. You know, Carter G. Woodson had to know that there was a problem between the races. I mean, and another thing, he like I said, he was the second graduate of Harvard University. So in those days, and he was the second one, W.D. Du Bois was the first. But for them to even get into Harvard, they had to do something to even get into Harvard. And then later on, he became the president of Howard, which Howard is one of the biggest boule schools out of all the HBCUs, I would say. And like I said, he knew stuff, but he didn't tell. I mean, he told stuff, but he didn't tell everything. And I think that's because they had him, because he was one of them. I think he was one of them. And although he was saying good stuff, you know, that's how they do it. They say all the good. They say they got to tell you some truth, because if they tell you flat out lie, you're gonna catch on to it. So, you know, yeah, he did some good things, but he held back a lot of information that we should have had. So, and that's why I'm not giving him a pass.
Well, I think this is the thing. I think, first of all, just not being there, you got to give somebody a partial pass, because you weren't living in at that time, and you don't know how it was, and you don't know his life. You don't know what he went through, and you can't make assumptions about how compromised he was, because you don't know. So I feel like you got to give somebody a pass just on that shit alone. The other thing you got to give somebody a pass on is this man got his own grandkids, great grandkids, or what have you. You got your own ancestor who was living at the same time as Carter G. Woodson. So you need to understand that if anybody was responsible for letting you know who you are, it should have been your family.
I agree with that.
Not Carter G. Woodson, because your own family knew who the hell they were, if you're going to look at it like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was up to our parents to do that. And I'm
talking about, he was born in 1875. So your great grandfather, whoever, he should have known, or not even great, maybe your grandfather, but probably great. Well, somewhere in between there, because my great grandfather was born 1845-ish, that kind of age, that kind of time. But either way, somebody should have passed it on to somebody to pass it on to you, because they knew.
I agree with that. But
they knew. Not only did they know who we are, they knew we had land. They knew that this land was taken. They knew who the hell was there that took it, and they didn't tell us.
No, but see, what I'm saying is, I'm not putting it.
My thing is, if you want to get mad at dead people, get mad at your own dead people.
Oh, they don't get a pass either. But see, everybody, but like I said, he knew all this stuff, and did he pass it on to his children? Did he tell his children? We don't even know what he told his children, and his people. So, but what I know about Carter G. Woodson is that, and yeah, maybe I wasn't there, and I don't know, but I try to think with common sense, and my common sense tells me that if this dude knew all this information, he knew more than what he told. and he should, and if he, and for him to be on that kind of pedestal or whatever, if we're gonna put him on that kind of pedestal, then he should have been doing something for us too. But I'm not gonna get on, you know. But yeah, you're right. My people were the one that were responsible to tell me. But I'm not gonna put them guys on pedestals when I didn't hear them say nothing either.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I don't think Carter G. Woodson is really put on a proper pedestal. In fact, like when I discussed with Freehawk and Dina this weekend, I feel like he's disrespected because what they did to him is they remixed what he never did. They making it to Black History Month when the man never used the term black. I mean, they call his organization African American. He never used the term African American either. So I mean, I don't feel like he's put on a pedestal at all. Actually, very contrary to that. He's kind of not respected for the way he did things. And I think he did things in that way in purpose because he knew that the Negro was something that is not to be mixed up with any African American or black. And he knew that our daggone heritage was in our knowing our Negro status and our Negro history. And that's why he promoted it. So that's why I give him credibility. Also, you have to understand this, is that to me, I'm majorly impressed. The fact that he collected these, these schedules, these information, these court documents that says, you know, we owned slaves, that we were the heads of household, we owned property. That is amazing because that was right in the middle of Plecker. Right in the middle of Plecker, he collected this stuff. And this stuff, for you all that actually are really trying to actually get to your heritage and get your daggone land back, this thing is amazing because what it does is it unlocks the keys and the lies that are told about your people, not just your people, but these other people. Like when you start researching to find your land or your land patent or whatever you're looking for in your family, your rights and your property, you're going to find out that, wait a minute, these people took my land. But then you're going to realize that most of these people that took their land are fraudulent. There are people that came in the late 1800s and pretended to be the people that took your land in the late 1700s or the early 1800s. These people weren't even here yet. The people got here in the late 1800s, and then they started to go in and take land that, people had, 50 years ago. And when they go back, they changed in your people's races. But Carter G. Woodson, he's got the list. So it shows that half of these people, whether their name's Leatherberry or their name is Scott or their name is whatever. They see what white folks like to make us all assume, and what they assume is that just because they're German or they're Dutch or they're friggin' English, that they're white. But these people aren't. And this is the thing that Carter G. Woodson has documented. And this is very powerful because he's got lists from many, many states of these people that had land, had slaves, that were us. They were melanated. They were people of colored people. So, this is the thing. I find it very valuable. That is extremely valuable. And when you're actually looking for your people and getting your stuff back, that kind of information is extremely valuable.
Hey, and
no matter what you say, you can't say that about Booker T. You can't say it about Frederick Douglass. You can't say it about daggone W.E.B. Du Bois. You can't say it about half of these motherfuckers that we do put on a pedestal. We can't say that about them. There's something, concrete that they have done that can benefit me to this very day. And that you can say about Carter G. Woodson. I close my mic.
I agree. I agree that the rest of the knuckleheads might have been worse, but it still remains. We see by him making that book about the slave owners. See what that told me, in which I wasn't taught this. Nobody taught me this. But what that told me was Who was fighting the Civil War? I mean, if you had all these indigenous slave owners, then who was fighting the Civil War? And the way I was taught, we had nothing to do with it. It was white folks against white folks in the North and the South. And what that tells me is that, and I mean, it ain't hard to figure out anyway, that the Civil War was indigenous people fighting indigenous people for other people. And they knew all of this, but none of them said anything, and not Carter G. Woodson either. So that's why they don't get no pass. But that's just how I am. I don't give anybody that the white man gives us, lets us have. I got my doubts about them, every last one of them. And as far as I'm concerned, every last one of them guilty of sin until they prove to me that they innocent, and that's all of them. And
Well,
yeah,
I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to retract.
like I said, you gotta say something. You gotta say something.
I'm sorry, you gotta retract that statement. You got to retract that statement. My Recollections of Veterans of the Civil War by Carter G. Woodson. You're going to have to retract that. My Recollections of Veterans of the Civil War. So, I mean, you can't say that he didn't talk about that. So
about
he did.
what?
The Civil War soldiers. I'm reading a title to one of his collection.
Oh, no.
I didn't
say that.
Veterans of the Civil War by Carter G. Woodson.
I didn't say that, but we weren't taught that. We weren't taught that.
It doesn't matter because we weren't taught by Carter G. Woodson, were we? We were taught by the white establishment. So you can't blame Carter G. Woodson.
People who taught Carter G. Woodson.
You cannot blame Carter G. Woodson for what you didn't learn in school with your white teachers or what have you.
No, I don't blame Carter G. Woodson for myself. All I'm saying is I don't see nothing special about none of them because because they withheld information. I don't care how much information they gave out, they withheld it too. And that is what hurt. That's what's hurting us. It ain't what they say, it's what they don't say. That's killing us right now. And they all knew that, and that's what I'm saying. And like I said, I'm not putting all this on Carter G. Woodson. I'm putting it on every last one of them. Because all of them had the knowledge. And I knew, and like I said, I ain't a big researcher. If I can find this stuff, I know they knew it.
Well, I go back to the fact that your own great granddaddy knew it.
Yeah.
Your own great grandmamas knew it. So I mean, their first responsibility is to their progeny.
I agree,
so
but
they told my family ain't taking care of business. And then we also have to look at today. So what are we doing today? Does everybody in our families know what we know today? Everybody. I mean, everybody. I mean, you going through all your daddy's kids and they kids.
No.
All your mama's kids and they kids. All them damn cousins. They all should know what you know. If you can't sit here and tell me that all your daddy's kids, all your daddy's sisters and brothers, and they keep, okay, let's say your daddy got 5 sisters and brothers. All five of them daggone siblings of your father, their kids, do they know what you know? Then go to your mama's side. All 5 of her siblings from your mama's side and those cousins, do they know what you know? If you can't say yes, then you're just as bad as Carter G. Woodson.
But check this out. Lisa. What if they don't know what you know, but they know about you? They have your number. They have your address. They have your email address. What if all of those people in the family know you and what you're about, but they choose not to fuck with you because of whatever.
In which that's definitely the case in my family, and a lot of my family.
So what you're saying, Lisa, you're absolutely right, especially the part when you say later for Carter G. Woodson, what your granddaddy leave down. He didn't leave down nothing, you know. So that's what it is. It falls on us, and that's why I say we can't be dumb. We can't be out here lying and confusing the people, because that's what these, you know, it seems like these cats were doing. You know, they probably were doing the best they can at that time, because there was nothing going around back there as far as intelligent people going, getting together, because they were ostracized by society itself. If you was a Nat Turner walking around, Nat Turner wasn't no dummy. Nat Turner wasn't no brute. Nat Turner was highly intelligent. Them type of cats couldn't be walking around. So, you know, I think what both of you guys are saying, and this is my thing, it's not like you guys are against each other. You have a idea and he has a view, and this is mine. No, I'm learning from both of you guys. And I think that's one of the things that we keep losing out on. I'm getting something from both. You know, it's sharpening my blade. You know, so it's not, I don't see where it's, you know, you may believe Carter G. Woodson served ice cream with sprinkles on the top. He may think he just threw you a popsicle. You know, it's, you're getting something from both of them, I think.
Well, I mean, this is the thing to me. I mean, I feel like, first of all, and I agree with Freehawk, he did speak against the Boule. He absolutely did. He was not on the team with Booker T. He was not on the same team as with Dubois. So I mean, I feel like he was, in my opinion, he is our historical inside guy. You could disagree with me if you want to, but to me, he was our only inside guy, and he did leave a legacy of information that is going to benefit us to this day, despite the odds. He did that. He left that information.
He left the information that they let him leave.
No. I mean, you can sit there and say they let him leave. He didn't even have. I mean, nobody else tabulated.
The dude got into Harvard.
Okay, so what? If I got into Harvard, I would be Boule. No, nigga. If I get into Harvard, that's me working hard and getting a good degree. Why do I have to be
did W.D. Du Bois go through to get into Harvard? And Woodson went through the same thing.
Why does that have to make me a traitor because I go to a highfalutin white school?
Because
that does not make me a traitor.
Those titles. They gave you those titles. They gave you all those titles. We didn't.
Let me tell you
something. His family didn't call him something.
Some white person gave people a job at on Amazon too. That don't mean you're a sellout because you work at Amazon. Let's just stop being crazy about just assuming that just because you hold a certain position or you go to a certain school, then you gotta be all the way sold out. I could have a great job.
So what if you got?
I could have a great degree. I could get into some really high positions, but that doesn't mean I'm totally sold out. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Okay, you have to go look at their works, and if their works show that they're sold out, that's another thing. But that doesn't apply to Carter G. Woodson. His works doesn't, to me, show that he was sold out. He wasn't trying to push the African agenda. He wasn't trying to change our identity. He wasn't trying
to do nothing for us either. He wasn't trying to warn us or nothing either.
Okay, what if I'm
warn you of what? He can't help you. Let me tell you something. He can't help you if your own daddy ain't telling you who the fuck you are. He can't really help you. If your own daddy sitting up there in the damn house with your grandfather, and they're like fucking with him every day, and he's like, well, we just gonna be niggas now. We just gonna be Negroes now. We're gonna be colored. Whatever they say, that's what we're gonna do. Whatever. If your own parents are doing that, he can't stop that shit.
Can I say?
But you saying that ain't. Hey, you think I ain't said nothing to my parents about not knowing nothing?
May I
Yes,
may I ask a
Go
question?
ahead.
Okay, so what if I'm working at Amazon, but I'm stealing all the skin lightening cream? Am I sell out then? Lisa?
You were waiting to say that stuff.
Oh my God. I just want to know if you were thinking about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could be a sellout and work in Amazon. That's what my whole point is. I mean, you could be kissing some major Amazon ass, so you get all them Amazon hours and you get all the overtime. You know what I mean? Everything is relative. You just because somebody, you could be posting on African Americans Ain't Africa every day, and then in Amazon you kiss a major white ass, so you can get all the overtime. So everything is relative. We don't know these people's entire lives.
Okay, let me ask this question then. Why come Carter G. Woodson didn't speak out like people like King and X and all them did? Why didn't he speak out like that?
First of all, that's not, those people are not his contemporaries. So let's keep things within the same time frame.
I'm talking about these are our heroes now.
No, you cannot take people out of time. You can't time travel because you have to understand that those aren't his contemporaries, right?
Carter G. Woodson didn't have TV.
It is not fair to make a comparison. And all and decades later, you can't. It's that over 30 years later, you can't.
Hey, what about Du Bois? What about Marcus Garvey? How about them?
That's right. And compared to them, he is the daggone inside guy. He is not overtly trying to mislead the Negro like his contemporaries. As a matter of fact, he would urge the Negro to have pride in yourself as a Negro and talked about our major accomplishments as Negro people, not trying to daggone get us to be sharecroppers, super our agricultural sharecroppers, not trying to daggone get us to go back to Africa. Well, he did have a little Pan-African bit to him, but he wasn't really pro pushing the Africa agenda like either one of those other two contemporaries. So
okay. Was Carter G. Woodson teaching us about nature? Was he telling us our connection to this land? Was he telling us about that?
Why are you acting like this damn man? Why are you acting like this damn man is supposed to do everything according to how you want him to do it?
Because y'all put him on a pedestal.
He didn't teach. No, I'm not putting him on a pedestal. I admire him for what he did contribute. That helps me to this day. I've learned stuff from all of even the sellouts. I've learned stuff that was useful for them too. But it ain't gonna change my mind about it. Well, I think that you are actually putting down somebody who actually was on our team. And I feel like if that's one dead person, you need to leave the hell alone.
I don't think he was on our team, because he was on our team. He would have been telling us everything. He wouldn't have held stuff back. Yeah, he told us stuff, but he didn't tell us everything. I wanted, if these
okay, first of all, you're assuming he fucking knew everything. You don't know what he knew. So I don't understand.
He knew.
And act like he knew everything.
He knew that. I ain't gonna. You can't.
I don't know. I don't know what he really knew. I don't know what he really knew.
So what are we talking about?
I don't know what he knew. I'm not in his brain. I don't even know what the person, down the street knows. I don't know what, I don't know what people know. I wouldn't make that assumption. I don't even know what I know, somewhat what my grandparents knew, but even they didn't know everything. They didn't know everything to tell me everything. If they knew everything to tell me everything, I'd be in a totally different position now. If my father and mother knew it, if my great grandparents knew, we would be all, and they knew that we had the ability and the right to fight, and we would be. See, I don't even know what they went through. I don't know. But I know one thing, that during the early 1900s, we lost about 100 different Black cities 100 Negro cities in this damn country. So I know that they were catching a pure T hell that we don't even know. We have not seen the level of. I know that shit. And that's during the time of Carter G. Woods' prime. So I don't know how to judge what he was going through, because we haven't gone through that today. The only city that we've seen demolished or attempted to be demolished today is New Orleans, and that wasn't a black mecca of, that wasn't a black owned city, but they just wanted to run the Negroes out of there that still held land and property there. But that's the closest thing we've seen to what they went to on a mass level in the early 1900s is Katrina. And this, can you imagine that it was going on all over the country at the same damn time, while the daggone Spanish flu was going on, while the Great Depression was going on, while the daggone war was going on. I mean, they hit them with everything. That's what they're trying to do right now to us, but they just lazy and dumb right now. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they're trying to do that to us right now. And they also, okay, so I mean, and the money was all they were going through everything all at once. I cannot imagine what and all that was set off. All those hundreds of cities being destroyed at once was set off by the KKK and the daggone birth of a nation. All that daggone drama that they started with daggone media.
You know what? They did a lot of shit just in that short time span.
In that short time, and you sitting up there riding on fucking his ass like he's some kind of sellout. I feel like that is ridiculous, Rick. That is ridiculous. The things that they went through in a short, not even 20 years, like 15-year period, that thing was crazy. Not even probably 15, maybe even 10. It was insane. Flooding town after town, burning town after town, all at the same time. Lynches all over the place. People running up north. I mean, people starving. People, the Great Depression. I mean, everything was happening. Drugs, and don't forget the drugs. They was introducing us to heroin. They were, bad liquor. Everything was happening at once. Disease, drugs, murder, destruction of our daggone metropolises. And you're gonna talk about the brother like he was slacking. I feel like you are really out of pocket with that.
Well, hey, like I said, he wasn't doing nothing to get us out of what we was in. So why? So he gets he don't get a pass from me. And I know he was Boule. I know he was Boule, because he wouldn't have gotten to Harvard if he wasn't. He didn't get in there because he was a smart Negro. He got in there because he followed the rules.
On this one, and then I'm gonna shut up. Lisa does has a point. Your parents have to tell you. Your grandparents should have told you everything. We can look at those cats and see what they did and probably draw some inspiration off of what they did, learn something what they did, learn what not to do. And I think that's what all of our lives are for. But I mean, when she tells you your parents should have told you, your grandparents should have known, and they didn't. I mean, I don't think you can talk about nobody else outside that, because you don't even know Carter G. Woodson. If Carter G. Woodson's great-great-granddaughter came and walked up and you wouldn't even know her. But your family put out people that are around you all the time, and nobody knows shit. I don't think you can say nothing about Carter G. Woodson or anybody else, because we all here. We all see what's going on, what you do. Carter G. Woodson just may have been doing what he knew what to do at the time. At that time, he would check out the time he was born. What was going on when he was born? What did he see? Did he see TV? No. Did he have some of the things that we have? No. Did he have computers? No. And we got all this information and shit, and we fucking 100 years behind him. Right or wrong. So that's what I'm saying, man. If your parents didn't tell you, you can't say shit about the next person.
Absolutely. And we have the ability to publish like he wasn't we all can publish. Anybody can publish anything. Anybody can get on the airways. Anybody can get on Facebook. Anybody can get on Twitter. We don't even freaking share stuff that we should really be sharing. We don't even dare gonna get and talk to our president. We have the ability to talk, to chat to our president because he's on daggone This Now daggone app or page on Facebook every other day, like at least twice a week. We can speak, we can actually chat and send messages to him. We can tweet the president. We don't freaking do that. When all this shit happened with COVID, half of us, how Rickman, did you say anything? Did you tweet the president, write the president?
I could care less about the president. I could care less about the president.
No. Okay, so, but you want Carter G. Woodson to tell you something.
Listen,
you want Carter? No. Let me finish. You want Carter G. Woodson to do something, but yet you gonna tell me you don't care about what the president is doing to the country or what these governors are doing.
I can tell you that.
Because let me tell you something. If you don't say something, Rick Moon, you're consenting. And you're sitting there blaming a dead person.
Because they
No, let me finish. Let me finish. You sit up there. No, let me finish. Let me finish. You blaming a dead person. And you know
nothing. I said he was bootleg. And I said he wasn't all he was. I didn't blame him for nothing.
Let me tell you something. The level of what you can do today far surpasses anything that he could ever do, even though he was an elitist or he had some kind of cred in the world. What you can do today as a common person far exceeds what he can do. And if you can't look in a mirror and say you didn't do anything, if you can tell me you're gonna sit there and with a straight face tell me you don't care about what the president or whatever does to society, let me finish. When it affects your progeny, are you fucking killing me? Do you understand that what these people are doing, they're murdering us? And if you fucking don't say anything, then you are consenting to that shit.
Okay, now I'll let you speak. Now, can I say something? Number one, I never told you that I don't care what the president does to us. I don't care about talking to the president because the president ain't gonna do nothing. He ain't gonna do nothing. The only ones that's gonna do something is us. You can write them, tweet them, do all you want. Ain't nothing gonna change. Not as long as he's in charge. So the only way, and I've been preaching this all the time, the only way you're going to get rid of this devil is leave him alone.
And that's why we don't get nothing the fuck done. Because that's the same thing your grandfather said. And your father said, just don't do nothing. Just shut your mouth. And see, that's why we don't. No, let me finish. Let me fucking finish. Let me finish this. That is why we don't get nowhere. Because what you just said is leave them alone. That's why that shit don't work. You know why? Because you gotta fight. And you know how you fight? First of all, you have to object. A lot of this is spell casting. A lot of this is a bunch of fucking spell casting. And if you don't say, I object, then you're consenting. So just ignore it. No. So you can't win. No. You can't win by leaving this shit alone. You're not gonna win.
I don't.
You gotta deal with it. You gotta deal with it.
I don't think he's meaning it how you guys are not seeing it in the same way. He means leave them alone, like stop buying it from them, stop sending your kids to school to be brainwashed. I understand what he's saying about leaving them alone. I don't think he means leaving alone by stay off his ass, by talking to him.
No, I'm right. He doesn't believe that you need to tweet at him. Just like people in the chat are saying, oh, you don't gotta tweet it, motherfucker. Everything they do is using words and spells to cast at you. If you don't reverse that shit on them, we're not gonna get anywhere.
And you reverse that.
Yeah, we're not gonna get anywhere.
By not dealing with
Let me
them.
tell you, you don't understand. See, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand being indigenous. Talk about you down with nature. You don't know fucking nature. If you know nature, you will know that in our nature, when you know what they're doing, you know that in our nature, we have the ability to create. We have the ability to manifest.
So let's create.
The way you manifest, the first way is with your intention and your words. Okay? So if you're not using, and let me tell you something, and when you use your words and your energy to deflect the weak fucking things that they're doing out there in the world, that's when we get our power. But what does the daggone Negro do? Oh, I ain't saying nothing. They gonna change nothing. No how.
And all of you that's been out there bitching and moaning and complaining, what has changed? Like I said, I'm not dealing with them because they not my problem. My problem is my people. So I deal with them.
That's not even. That's not you. They're in. Okay, first of all, that's so ridiculous because you don't live in a separate world.
Hold on. Hey, Lisa, let him finish because you finished. And be.
I'm not going to deal with somebody who don't want to deal with me. I'm not dealing with them. If they don't want to deal with me, I'm not dealing with them.
No, but I'm saying just make your point and stop talking over each other. I mean, you can't even, goddamn. Have a conversation.
I'm finished. Yeah.
Well, people are saying stupid stuff like our women love the white man. That has not. You don't understand. See, men don't understand the spirit. You talk about nature. You don't give a. You don't know nothing about it. Okay, you don't know nothing about it, and you have to know that you have that this is a process that y'all don't fucking understand it the hell at all, because this is the way it works. First of all, yeah. These people that are out there in the streets protesting, yeah, that shit, you think that shit doesn't work? But let me tell you something. Everything is about energy. And we are people that have a power and an energy. And when you sit up there and shut down and act like not my problem, then you're not combating anything, and you're not adding to anything. You're not doing anything. It's as if you don't exist. And by you not existing and not even caring in any way, you're actually part of the problem, because you're actually, by your silence.
But no one said that.
Okay, see, come on, let me finish my word. By your silence, you're giving consent. No one can do anything to us without our consent. That is a rule of nature.
That's right.
And when you don't speak, you give consent. If somebody's doing something and you do not voice an objective, you are giving consent. That is a rule of nature.
So you telling me that by me going to my people, telling my people the situation, trying to get my people to return to their true nature, without I don't need them to tell me nothing. I don't need the president to tell me nothing. I don't need nobody in government to tell me nothing. It's all about us doing
You
it.
got
And
they're
we
in
can't.
your land.
They're not
They're
gonna.
on
They're
they're in
not.
your
Hey, how has it worked so far? How long we been?
okay, because you know why? Because nobody is because everybody keeps
How
doing the
long?
same way you're doing it. That's why it ain't working. You're doing the same thing as your grandfather. You're doing the same thing.
No, I told my peeps about themselves. I told them.
No, but you're doing the same thing. Guess what your grandfather did? Guess what your great grandfather did? He stayed on his land and he's minding his own business. That's what he did. Your great grandfather did that. That ain't nothing new. He already was back. Your great grandfather was already back to nature. He lived with nature. He farmed. Right. And guess what? It didn't change nothing in a positive for you, did it? That's not enough. If it was enough, we'd be in a better position now.
Well, we ain't gonna get it by telling the president to leave us.
Yes. Let me tell you. Okay, please I need a moment. Okay,
we was doing good, but you want to mess with us? Mark them. We don't need them. Mark them. They're not gonna hit. They're not gonna do nothing for you. They're not gonna change nothing for you.
That's not what I'm talking about. You won't even let me finish my daggone thought. Give me a minute. This is not what I'm talking. What I'm talking about is this. First of all, you got to get yourself into your own identity. Y'all motherfuckers are still damn Negroes or Blacks or African Americans. But first, you got to change yourself into your actual family people, like Accomack Indians. We are our original people. Then once you start doing that, then you can start regulating your fucking self. Okay, so you can go to the daggone man and say, look, we're not in your jurisdiction. My daggone kin ain't going to your jail. Yeah, you can do that. But you can't do that. I've done it. What I'm saying, well, I have done that. What I'm saying is that I don't do it and also because you're doing this, because I'm trying to change a people's identity and our power in the world, you have to speak it to existence. So you have, as a sovereign or a nation to yourself, say, look, you don't have authority over me. I see what you're doing, and I do not consent to it, because that covers my people. When I say to Biden, I know that you're a demon, and I know what you're doing, and I do not consent to you killing my people. You as a nation need to say that nation to fake ass corporation.
Well, we need a nation first.
I have a nation, but that's not, you don't, but I do. Rick, I do. So what I'm talking about ain't no bullshit. Rick, what I'm talking about ain't bullshit.
I ain't saying it was. I thought this was
but that's what everybody should be doing. What I'm doing, they should be doing it. They should be doing it. Because you can't change anything until you change yourself.
That's right. So I don't need them to change me.
Yes, no, this is the thing. Right. That's not what I'm saying. Not that you need them to change, but as a nation, you have to speak to them, nation to daggone corporation. You have to speak to them. You have to put them in their rightful place. And if you're sitting there silent, like you don't have to deal with them, then you're consenting to all the shit they're doing. I send in texts and tweets. You will not daggone go into Northampton and inoculate them children in them schools. You will not. You think me being silent is okay? No, you can't. Not as a nation. You have to speak up and against. And if you're trying to change anything, you have to speak up about it. You can't sit there and say, oh, well, I'll get back to nature because ain't nobody all following you in the woods. They're not.
Well,
and guess what? And guess what? They shouldn't have to.
I'm
not finished. Just because they don't want to live in the woods don't mean we shouldn't have the rights as our daggone nationality to be free and to be able to prosper. We should not have to all run into the woods to do it.
Well,
We
who said
should be able to get what we want and be free wherever they want to daggone exist.
who said that?
I'm just saying that. You're saying go back to nature. Everybody ain't gonna go back to nature.
And,
They're just
the
not.
ones that don't ain't gonna be around.
No, that's not even true. That's not even true. Because guess what?
That's the only way we gonna
Rick,
survive
everybody, Rick, we didn't live in fucking nature when they got here. We had civilized cities and shit when they got here. So that bullshit about people living in the ground and the dirt, that's bullshit.
You know
We
what
was always
civilized means?
advanced.
Do you
We
know
were
what
always advanced. We
Do
were
you know
always
what
advanced.
civilized means? No, civilized means domesticated.
We were always advanced.
That
We
means
always had
civilized means
had
domesticated.
technology. We
That's
had it.
their word. That's not ours. That's
We
their
had technology. We always were advanced. We weren't always just living on the day going with the earth.
technology is.
Can I ask a question? So we just can't talk in a normal way, huh? We can't do that. I mean, really, it's like
Nah, what's technology? Did they need it? Did they need all that back then? Weren't they? You know, they were just fine without technology, weren't they? When we didn't have all these grocery stores, refineries, where we make
We
all
had grocery stores. I don't
No.
know when you think we didn't have grocery stores or had storehouses or whatever. We always had towns. We had towns. We always had
Who said
everything that was invented just about was invented by us. So we've
I
always
know
been innovative.
I know that.
Always.
And I also know we had cities back in them days too. But they are, even though they was in cities, they still abided by the laws of nature. And the only way you're gonna survive this planet is that you start going to. If you're gonna have to go to it, if you don't go to it, you're gonna die. I don't care what kind of nation you got.
I mean, but that's a whole nother
you
thing.
like-
Okay. That's a whole
you-
nother thing. Ain't nobody arguing. Ain't nobody arguing that you have to be.
Let me say
that
this.
you-
Let me say
Ain't
this.
nobody arguing that point. That's not even. That's a whole different point.
Not only are we responsible for us, we're responsible for America, the whole of America. We're responsible for all of that. We're responsible for every living thing that Mother Earth created in America. That is our responsibility, not just each other. We got to be responsible for all of that. And until we provide all of that, we're not going to make it.
If you don't care enough to say anything or do anything because you don't think it's going to make a difference, then you're not changing a damn thing. The reality is that if we're not, first of all, like I said, if we haven't had a conversation with all of our mothers, siblings, children, and all of our fathers, siblings, children, or whoever they have left, then we haven't done our due diligence. You can speak to like-minded people all you want. That's not doing a doggone thing. That doesn't do it. Talking to like-minded people does nothing because those people are already the choir. The thing that needs to be done is to have those conversations with those people that are open to the conversation in your families. And that's how you actually build a nation. You can't build a nation till you have those people that are your family at least understanding what's happening. That is your first thing to do in protecting the future, is to at least say, well, at least I informed everybody. I can say I did that.
And
everybody knows what I know.
But I agree with that. But if family ain't cooperating, then I got to do something else.
Well,
See,
really, no. Family, you know what? You have to keep trying. You have to keep trying. It's not going to take one time.
Let's stop.
It's not going to take 2 times. It's going to take about 5 times.
Come on, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I'm just saying I don't have time to wait on them. You know, if they don't, hey, what am I gonna do for myself in the meantime? You know, while I'm sitting here waiting on them, I got to make a move.
Yeah.
I know what needs to be done, so I'm gonna do my part.
Right.
And if they want to come along, I want them to. I'll be glad for them to. But if they don't, that don't mean that I'm gonna stay.
So listen, I'm hoping that you guys are picking up something from this conversation. You got to listen to each other. You know, we can't mesh ideas like that. Share it. It shouldn't take more than a minute. Let the person hit it back. Same thing. Got to learn how to conversate with each other, because then I think we'll get a better understanding of the ideas that we're getting. Both people are brilliant. Brilliant. And this is what I mean. A lot of you are the same way. And it's that part of the culture that's ignored. You're not being ignored. You're some of the most intelligent people out there. You see, you're on social media. You know, get with your people. Lisa says it all the time. Oh, one thing I want to share. Check this out too. This is the interesting part about finding your people. Check this shit out. So you heard Lisa say she's the Accomack. It's the sister down in Louisiana. Her people are called the Chittamanga. Down where my people are from, they're called the Akanachakas. I think if you start getting to where your people, where they, was building their stuff and all this before the invasion happened or that war happened, find out, check your people out. What part of the earth did they live on? Did they live near copper mines? Did they live near iron ore? Did they live, what's that table? Granite. Did they live near granite? Find out who your folks were. You'll get a better understanding of yourself through nature's eye, because you're a part of this planet. You're something. You're not black. You're not all these names that they've given you. You're something that your people created. Go find out what that was. Teach your kids what that was. Check so you can imagine when Lisa says, "Oh, I'm with the Accomacs." Who? Those type names resonate with people. Those words, those places, because all of you are from that. So I want to thank Lisa and Reg tonight. We got to listen to each other's ideas, and that's how we all grow. So I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next time. Peace.